Hi there, and welcome to Family Matters with Marc and Nikki. Coming up on the show today, we're going to talk about, so what age should our kids start dating? And what's the definition of dating these days? We're going to talk about so much with respect to dating. It's going to be some great information. I'm really curious to get Nikki's perspective on this. And we're also going to be asking the question, at what age, if any, would you let your kid get a tattoo? So,
yikes. Are we talking bubblegum tattoos?
The lick-on kind or the stick-on kind?
Lick them and stick them. Yeah. And it always looked like some deformed, like labeling on your body. What is that? That's my tattoo, man.
Yeah.
Did you see that zebra on a surfboard? Oh, is that what that is? Okay, cool.
Back in the day, I can smell the bubble gum, right? I can absolutely smell it. So anyway, we don't have any sponsors on this show because we're just talking. We're here. We wrapped up our other show, CBD and Essential Oil Talk Radio, that we did for about 18 months, right?
Yep.
We did a lot on that. We had so much fun doing that show. We wanted to kind of take it in a different direction, so we're excited about Family Matters. We're going to talk about everything to do with family. So let's kind of get into it here. So dating. So did you tell us, do you have kids?
I do have children. So I'm 49 years old.
Oh, okay.
I'm just putting that out there.
Wow.
I'm proud to be 49 because I'm one day older to not being here. I'm just kidding.
What? That's a little fatalistic, but whatever.
Kidding. So I have a 22-year-old daughter. I have an 18-year-old stepdaughter, a 17-year-old stepson, and then I also have a 9-year-old daughter that I gave birth to.
Wow. So
yep, at 40. So see, I've got a lot of experience when it comes to being a mom.
So how long has your 9-year-old been dating?
Right. Not that quick.
About 18 months.
There you go. So my 22-year-old daughter, when she first started dating, should we just jump right in and tell you the story?
Go for it.
So she's like, I want to go to the prom. She was a freshman who was asked to go to the prom.
So what is freshman? Is that 14 or 15?
She was 14.
Okay.
And I said, well, it's a junior-senior prom, and you're neither. So, no, I didn't let her go to the prom.
Wow.
As a freshman. I thought it was inappropriate. He was 17. She was almost 15. And I wasn't having it. I was like, no, sorry. That was just me and my personal opinion. I didn't let her go. She didn't want to, Was
this the first time she was going to go out on a date?
That's correct. Her first date was going to be.
How much notice did she give you? Did she warm you up to that at all?
A couple months. She's like, hey, so-and-so asked me to the prom. I'd like to go. I was like, the junior-senior prom? She's like, yeah. I'm like, what grade is he in? He's a senior. I'm like, no, absolutely not.
No, why would you say no? Because he's a senior.
Just, he's older and more mature. I'm assuming, yes. My daughter was not the most mature 14-year-old.
Okay.
So I just said no. And there was never a question, other than why. I'm like, because it's a junior-senior prom and you're neither.
But what was the real reason you said no?
I don't trust 18-year-old boys.
Okay.
That's just how I feel.
Why don't you trust them?
Jeez, Mark, is this the 40 question show? Because my family matters. What about your family? Let's talk about yours. No, I think, and maybe that's not the way to think, but 18-year-old boys have things on their mind that, well, 14-year-old boys don't.
Well, structure, I guess, how would you structure that in order to say yes, right? Okay, so what is we talked before, like group dating kind of a thing, right? So what's the setting? Do you know the parents? Okay, great. That sounds like a great idea. I'd like to meet his parents. I'd like to meet him, get to know him a little bit. Because I've got a 13-year-old, right? And we're going to be moving into that territory. And so I'm trying to figure out, how do I want to do this? I don't have experience in it yet, right? But I have expectations about what I don't want to see. And yes, I know kind of how a 15, 16, 17-year-old boy, I know what they're thinking about, right? Maybe they're thinking, more intimacy when it's not appropriate. So you got to keep things in perspective. So structuring the date, I think, would be something. That's where I see myself taking that conversation. Is like, okay, well, I'd like to go, boom, okay, so let's talk about structure. And let's talk about expectations. So what do you think her expectations of what a prom experience was going to be?
Probably just let's have some punch and dance all night with my girlfriends. That's probably what it was. But the thought of an 18-year-old boy picking her up, taking her to the prom, I just wasn't going to have it.
Yeah. So you don't really have trust in that area. But there again, getting to know the boy might maybe help, because they could schmooze you probably a little bit too, make you think things are going to go well, and then it doesn't.
Wow, your
go
mom's so young. I know, right?
I like this guy.
Yeah, you can take my daughter anywhere. Go ahead. You want to go to Vegas? It's okay.
Oh no!
Get a tattoo while you're there. That's fine.
Wow, just the tattoo that says, so and so and so and so together forever kind of a thing, right? And then 6 weeks later, you're getting it removed.
And I also think, Mark, the whole leading up, hey, Mom, I want to go to the prom with Jacob. That's not his name, but I want to go to the prom with Jacob. Is that cool? Well, who's Jacob? He's just a guy at school. Well, tell me about him. No. Like what? What do you want to know? He plays football. He's in my science class, What else do you want to know? I think it's the way we had that conversation.
Okay.
It was kind of, I don't know. Here's what it wasn't. It wasn't like, hey, Mom, I'd like to go to the prom with Jacob. He's a really nice guy. I'd like you to meet him. Like, it was just... like you were saying,
sure.
we didn't structure the conversation correctly.
Well, yeah,
but I right away thought like, yeah, right.
Yeah, and probably a lot of parents are stuck there too, right? They have their own expectations on things, and then we kind of maybe take that to the conversation, good or bad, right? I don't really have experience in that area, yet, so. This is going to be an interesting trip for me.
Yeah.
Because
so that's just prom, Mark. So when the dating thing came into play, I want to go on a date with my friends. Okay. You want to date more than one guy? Like friends? Like, what do you mean? She's like, no, a couple of the girls, a couple of the guys, we want to go to Monster Golf, which is an indoor golfing place. And I was like,
there we go.
What? I said, I'm down with that. That's cool, but I'll drop you off and pick you up. I just told her that's just what it is. She's like, okay. So that was cool. And then she was in 9th grade. She was still a freshman. It was a summer until she went to 10th grade. And that's how it started for her.
I think, setting up a system or a structure where we could actually meet, that the parents could be around the kids too, so you can kind of see how do they, because I want to watch, right? I want to watch how they interact.
Okay, that's weird.
No. We're talking about, early teens going out and having fun. It's okay to watch that kind of stuff. We're not talking about, okay, they just got married and dad's going to, no, that's weird.
That's wrong.
So, but I want to see their interaction. Okay. So how are they around each other? How does he treat her? How does he react when he misses a golf shot? You know what I mean? That's going to tell you a little bit about his character. How does he react when she misses? And just these little things, you know what I mean? How does he treat her? What does he, that right. To me as a dad, that stuff's very, very important. And how can I learn that unless I allow these types of things to take place? But then again, it comes down to structure. And then of course, what about his parents being there so that we can get to know the parents? Because if the kids get married, you're marrying the family too.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
So learning that and figuring out, okay, because do you agree with me or not that you can be in love with all kinds of people? You can fall in love multiple times, right?
Yes.
It's not like there's this one person and this is the only person I can love, right? I mean, that's a little naive, right? Or no?
That's hard.
I think it's totally possible that given situations, right? I mean, I fell in love with Jennifer. That I married her. We met at Burger King. Well, we met at high school, but then really got to know each other when we were working together at Burger King. And then, kind of went from there.
Okay, hold on. So you're asking me this question. You've been married for 31?
Be 32 this year.
32 years.
Mm-hmm.
So explain your question. Can you fall in love with multiple people?
So, in other words, I was just about to get there. So, but what if I went to work at Taco Bell, right? And then I met somebody else. I would have fallen in love with somebody else. And I don't think there's just this one person. If Jennifer, we've seen this, right? Where somebody passes away and they fall in love again and they get married.
They move on. Yes, absolutely.
I think it's just naive to think that there's just this one person in the whole world that's the only person that you can love. I think that's naive. It's situational. You can have attachments to people and you can form it and live happily ever after kind of a thing until they pass away and then you move on.
That's so wrong.
Sounds cool, right? But
so
no,
wrong.
Seriously. So if like Brooke is, she's getting to know this boy or whatever, and it's like, okay, and this boy is bad for her, right? Let's just say that the family is abusive towards the son and there's all these other issues going on there. And it's like, okay, or maybe they're older and he's got a family and there's all these issues and there's bipolar. There's all kind of problems going on there. It's like,
wow.
Look, I'm just trying to be real, right? So from a dad's perspective, it's like you watch your child walk into a situation where there's all this heartache and all this struggle that's coming on them because they feel like they love this person. And it's like, I don't know. I think that there's, just discernment. I think there's something to discernment. Let's pay attention to the boy and how they act, and let's pay attention to the family and see if it's a good fit. I just think that's responsible, but maybe I'm naive. I don't really know.
I don't know. I'm going to disagree with you on it.
So
I think love is love. And yeah, so guess what? This road may be harder than another road with somebody who doesn't have issues going on in their family, but face it, everybody has issues these days, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody's perfect.
I just think discernment would be something to pay attention to.
And I say, be cautious. Know what you're getting into.
Right.
Right.
Right. So, but I really love this person.
But that shouldn't matter.
You're 15. You don't know what love is yet.
There you go. There you go.
What's love got to do with it?
So I've been married 3 times.
Okay.
I can just say that. And I was in love.
Same person?
3 times.
Or different people?
No. See what I mean? You just don't up and marry somebody. I was like, wow, I was really in love with this person at that time of my life. And then people change.
Yeah.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
Especially when you're young, you're changing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think you change less as you're older, or at least slower.
Yeah.
But when you're young, you don't know who you are, what's going on.
So I think when it comes to dating, we need to teach our children. And here's what I'm talking about. Teach them about what is love. Right? It's not just a song from the 80s.
Right. What's love got to do with it?
There you go.
Who was that sang that?
Tina Turner. Maybe.
Oh, yes.
I don't know.
No, you're right. It was Tina Turner.
But I was thinking the other one. But anyway, never mind. What earth are you on? Okay, it's flat. Okay, so we need to teach them about love, the difference between liking someone. Oh, I really like you a lot. To express your feelings to someone, to say, you know what, I love you, and then they don't say it back.
Yes.
That hurts. That totally hurts.
Why would that hurt?
Because I don't know.
15,
I felt hurt when I told somebody I love them and he didn't reciprocate it.
How old were you though when that happened?
It was Chris, it's my current husband. I told him I loved him and he said, you know what? I really like you a lot. He told me that.
Okay, but you were an adult at the time.
I was an adult. Okay. Yeah, and it hurts. It freaking hurts.
Do you
I was like,
him
you know what? I'm just kidding. I don't love you. Kiss my butt. No, I didn't say that. Anyway, but I think we need to teach them about love and liking, and I think we need to let them know when you start dating someone, it typically leads to a different type of relationship, not just, playing soccer in the front yard.
Well, and it's more than just feelings too, because if you're talking about making a life with somebody, because I think the purpose of dating is, you're moving towards this understanding what it takes to actually have a long-term relationship with somebody. That if, there's the purpose of marriage, in my opinion, is to have a family. Okay, it's not just to have somebody that it is, right? I want grandkids. I'm just saying. But I think that's the natural progression of things. Biblically speaking, that's the purpose of it, right? Okay. So, you're going to have structure. You're going to have day-to-day operations. You're going to have people that get sick, right? You're going to have people that get fired, just all kinds of things that can happen in a relationship that you're going to have to deal with. So it's more than just feelings. Oh, I have a heart. But when they're 15, that's not what you're teaching, because all they're thinking, it's just feelings. But there again, coming back to structure, I think if we can explain, try and teach them that there's more to a relationship than just how you feel about them on any given day, right? Because
with women, it could change.
Right? And when you
I may not feel like this tomorrow.
I think guys could probably, the same way, but it's interesting. Guys and girls, of course, they bring different things to the relationship, the expectations. The girl wants to feel valued and special and loved, and the guy, he just wants the warm and fuzzy feeling of, I don't know.
I got a girl.
I got a girl. I got me one.
I got a good one here.
Yeah. There's a video that's a song called Perfect. Okay. There's a music video with it. I'm trying to think of the guy's name, but it's a great song.
Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran, yeah. Would you say it was?
Yeah, something like that.
Ed Sheeran? I don't know how to pronounce it, but
I don't either, but I know who it is.
If you've never seen that music video, you should watch it, because it's really sweet. The way that they are together, and just that story of them. And when I watch that video, I think about Brooke, and that's what I want for her, right? Is that strong, connection, but then also in the right structure. So it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be weird, when right now it's like, of course, as a dad, it's like I'm the man in her life kind of a thing. You know what I mean? Right. But then that'll change down the road. I'm not looking forward to that. I'm just being honest. It's going to be.
She's going to be, I love you, Dad, but I'm with this guy now. Right. It's true. Right. And I'm sure it hurts.
Well, when, you know the story of Jennifer and I getting married, right? So we were 18 and I went off to the military and I came back. Well, while I was in the military, basic training, I proposed to her and it's like, we decided we were going to get married. And then we dumped that on our parents, right? And they freaked out, right? Her parents freaked out. My parents freaked out. It was like, it wasn't all sunshine and lollipops, right?
Okay.
It was a little bit of strife. I mean, they accepted it, of course. But so now as a parent, I'm thinking, okay, I wouldn't want it to go that way. And I would want to be, a part of that process and kind of know what's coming and all that.
Okay.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens. So anyway, so what's
age appropriate? We're talking about age.
Yeah.
I'm like, what were we talking about again? Oh yeah. So 14 for me was a little too young, but I also think it's based on maturity. At that time, I didn't think my daughter should be going to a prom with an 18-year-old boy. And I think most moms and dad would agree with me on that. Just given the numbers. Yeah. Yes, I agree. But then later on, when she was 14, almost 15 in the summer, it's like, okay, so you want to go putt-putt golfing? That's cool. Now you and Lisa are going to go to the movies with Mike and Jake? Okay, go. Well, Jake wants to pick me up. Okay, have him come inside. We'll visit for a little bit, and we'll give him the rundown. And that's what we did. Hey, this is the most important person in my life. Please don't hurt her. That's just what I say. And then the guy looks at me like, yes, ma'am, I won't. And I said, okay, and be home by 10 o'clock. Okay, great, thanks.
And I'm thinking that, so yeah, this is the most important person in my life. And so I tell you what, let's do I like the idea of let's go have pizza, or right, let's go have something where your parents go and then my wife and I go and the kids go, and it's very, very structured. Maybe even have some other friends there so they can have fun or whatever. But I think there again, meeting the other parents and figuring out how they are, and then also making sure that boy understands that there's certain things in place.
I feel sorry for your daughter right now. I'm sorry.
No, it's not.
I do. I think that's very unusual. And I think it would put a lot of pressure on your daughter, and she would be like, oh my God, my parents are just idiots. They want to.
I've already set the expectation, and she's actually, it's actually fine. There hasn't been any issue. But now it's a venue. Okay, so where's it going to happen at? And their idea for it so far is not one that I want to go with. So I like the idea of just let's, like you said, putt golf. I like that because, there's interaction going on, but there's an opportunity to kind of, for me to have a conversation with that boy and just get an idea. It's not like, I'm judge, jury, and executioner. I'm just looking to learn more about you, because he doesn't even, he's like 14, or I think he's 14. It's like he doesn't even know who he is yet. He's still figuring all that out.
Gotcha.
But there is some root of who this person is that's already there. You're going to see that stuff kind of manifest in certain situations.
But it shouldn't matter.
But it does matter to me.
Okay.
Because to say that, okay, so if this kid has blow up problems, has anger issues, okay, being able to observe him in situations where that could occur would be good, because that's not a good thing for my daughter to have to deal with.
No one in their right mind is going to blow up in front of your daughter's dad. Daughter's dad.
Put him under enough pressure.
Wow. Y'all heard it. You heard it here first, folks.
Well, there's something to that. Of course, I was a cop for a long time, right? And so you have officers that go through the whole process, and they make it through whatever, and they get out, and then they get into that situation where you've got a fight going on, and they don't act appropriately, right? Either they overreact or they underreact, but you don't know what that situation is until they get there. So you got to understand, as a dad, and what I bring to the table is my history and what I've seen, and I'm not looking to rule people out. I'm looking to find out what kind of person that person is. You know what I mean?
I do. In a weird kind of way, I do actually know what you mean.
And then point that out, and if like they're having anger issues, is a conversation with Brooke. Hey, so when he missed that putt there, he kind of went off like that. Has he done this before? And see, I have a real good open dialogue with Brooke. So she'll tell me stuff, right? And I think this is another very important point when it comes to dating and boys and girls getting to know each other is, what's the dialogue between the child and the parent? Are they going to tell you when something's not right? Right? Yep. Super important, I think.
Very important. And now that my daughter's an adult and she's dating, and she comes to me and says, hey, look, you know what? So-and-so has some issues with his mother. Like, he hates his mom. That's very concerning to me, right? Because I'm like,
there we go.
Okay, so
I knew it.
I've always heard the way a man treats his mother is the way he'll treat his wife, right? I've heard this my whole life. But what if the mother has a mental illness?
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't mean the son has a mental illness, but what if the mother's just a real off the rocker kind of person? I think there's some type of leeway there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where that's why I think getting to know the parents and the kid is important. It's context. We're trying to not looking to rule somebody out, but looking to get to know them.
Right.
But then if there is problems there, it's like, I'm going to be transparent with Brooke as well, saying, look, these are red flags. Okay. I'm not telling you who to love, not to love, but
these are red flags and this is why.
Exactly right.
So I'm totally down for that. But
what about kissing?
I'm married, Mark. I'm sorry, I couldn't stop it.
That's why I like doing the show with you. There's a short trip between the brain and the mouth there. Pop. Okay, that just happened.
So here's the thing on kissing. I don't even like to talk about it.
Why?
I mean,
it's something that's going to come up, right?
I think maybe a good night kiss on the cheek is fine. And
what the hell? When is a good night kiss on the cheek good? Why would you even do that? Why would you allow for that? When would you allow for that?
Well, if they've gone out on a date. So she's got to know him. Now she knows the parents. You've met the guy and you're like, okay, he gets a thumbs up on my book, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And now you let them go out on a date, their first date, a car date. Let's say they're 17.
Yeah.
And then he brings her home, a kiss on the cheek.
No.
Good night. Absolutely
not.
Well, they've already been making out 10 minutes in front of the house.
No, that I almost cussed there, but that ain't happening. It's like,
how do you know?
Well,
you don't know what they do.
No, but that's why I think structure is very important.
Well, here's what I know. An aspirin will keep you from, getting pregnant if you're dating.
Well, that is disgusting.
But it's true. You just hold it between your knees. You don't have to worry about it.
I like it.
All right.
No,
so that's my take on it.
On kissing. A kiss on the cheek on a first date. Wow, that's crazy.
But a first date is not a first date like 1955.
Yeah.
It's 2019.
I like 1955.
Right? Yeah, exactly. We got to move past that. We got to keep up with the times.
Well, what's the purpose of kissing? Seriously, what's the purpose of it?
It's very romantic.
Yeah, it's
like
intimacy.
That's correct. It's a very romantic act.
I think that's misplaced before marriage. No kissing.
Don't touch me. Don't put on my seatbelt for me. Don't put my napkin in my lap, and do not kiss me.
Yeah.
Do you want to get married? Sure.
I know people. No, seriously, I know people that their first kiss was when they at the wedding ceremony.
Wow. Was it was it like
not
in Zimbabwe
arranged
marriage?
No, right here in the United States. People that I know here.
That is ridiculous.
Well,
that's ridiculous, Mark. If we take a poll, it would be 0%. That is okay. We should move on to tattoos.
No, I think that's kissing is about because it's the gateway to it's a gateway.
Not a kiss on the cheek.
That's kissing. Putting your lips on my daughter? What the hell? I don't know.
It's not like he.
They're fully clothed, Mark.
Mark, they have on their clothes. Don't touch 6 foot. What are we, social distancing? What is this, COVID-19 related?
So when they're 14, there's not going to be any kissing on the cheek. Okay, you said 17 in your example. So 17, I still think that is a gateway to intimacy that you got to be careful of, right? But as a parent, seriously, there's an expectation of that this has to happen. This process is going to happen. But preserving the integrity of intimacy, I think, is important for marriage. It'll be interesting to see how it progresses because society allows for it. It's like the first date and they're going to bed together. Not when they're 14, obviously, but when they're, teenagers, college and so forth, they're doing that. It just casually. It's happening all the time. But there's a loss there when that happens.
And this goes back to, like I said, teaching your children about love and liking and everything in between.
Yeah.
And respect, self-respect, respect and respect. Sorry, I got a new tooth thing. All right.
Anyway, so kissing, very, very important. Holding hands a little bit less. What's your thoughts on holding hands?
I think that's so romantic.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. So you guys can hold hands? I don't know. There again, it's a slippery slope. Holding hands is short to, what if you have like the boy's real needy, very affectionate, very needy, like he needs that constant reassurance and I think that's leverage. I don't know. I don't trust that. I don't trust a needy boy.
Here. Should I check these at the door? Like, here, put them in your purse. Let's go out.
No.
What? No.
You need to have a pair.
There you go.
Don't be needy. I'm
Don't
just
be
saying.
Needy. I like that. Nobody likes a needy man.
No.
Or a needy woman, for that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. But I need chocolate. I'm a needy chocolate woman.
So have you, at what age should we talk with our kids about sex, do you think?
8, 9.
Really?
10. I've already had a little talk with Michaela about it, about body parts.
Yeah.
Michaela's 9 years old, talking about boys and girls, right? I'm going to go play with my best friend as a boy. Okay, y'all go play, but remember.
Keep your clothes on.
Keep your clothes on. Thank you. Yeah. Your body belongs to you, and his body belongs to him.
Yeah.
Don't be touching his body, and he doesn't touch yours. Okay.
Oh, I like
and
that.
that's just it. That's already what I'm leading into, and then it'll be easy to talk to her as she gets older.
Okay, but what about the actual body parts and stuff? Boys are different than girls. Have you had that talk?
I did.
You did? At what age?
This was a couple weeks ago, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
And Michaela's 9, right?
Yeah. Should I say it? Here's what she said. She said, Mom, do boys stand up or sit down when they pee? I said, well.
Most of them stand up.
It was a real conversation.
Sure.
I was like, I think they stand up.
It depends on what the wife lets them do.
Exactly. Your dad sits down, but most men do stand up. And she says, okay, do they use toilet paper on their thingy thing? I said,
oh, that's a fair question.
I said, you know what? I don't know. No one's ever asked me this, child. I said, you know what? I don't think so, but
Go ask
maybe.
your dad.
Right. And she goes, you said you don't think they do? I said, I don't think they do. I think they just do that, and then they pull up their pants, and then they're gone. She's like, that's disgusting. I said, yes, you don't ever want to touch one. No, I didn't say that. They are disgusting. Trust me. No. So anyway.
Oh my God, that's so
yeah,
funny.
So she knows that boys have certain parts, girls have certain parts, but.
You know what? That would have actually, I would have been dumbfounded if I'd have got that question. You know what I mean? It's like, well, do boys wipe after they pee or not? I mean, that is very interesting that Michaela asked you that question.
Yep, she asked. I was like, I don't think they do. She's like, that's so gross. I'm like, yeah.
Go ask your dad. Did you tell her to go ask your dad?
No, but I asked Chris later, and I'm not going to disclose
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Depends on what I'm doing afterwards. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So we need a bidet, right, for all that.
You said it completely wrong.
It's bidet.
It's bidet.
Bidet, whatever.
Bidet. I thought you were talking about boudin sausage balls. I'm like, wait a minute. We're not talking about the balls.
God, that's funny, right?
All right, let's get on with the whole tattoo thing.
Yeah. We got to move on here. We're already.
I know. We're
oh my
moving
gosh!
on.
You know what we should
Do we already talk about tattoos?
Let's wrap this show up.
Let's do it.
And we'll talk about tattoos on a different one because I think maybe we're gonna have to do one topic per show, right? Because it was just a lot of fun.
It's too funny. All right, so now you know on Family Matters, our families do matter.
Yes.
Mark and I don't see eye to eye on everything.
No.
And that's what I love about our relationship.
Yeah, because I really think it's okay for Nikki to be wrong.
That's right. I know. I don't kiss on the first date.
Yeah, no kissing on the cheek.
I don't kiss on the first date.
You don't kiss on the first date? No. But that's back from the 80s, right?
Nope. That was just 10 years ago.
Wow. I don't know. All right, so let me just, as we wrap up the show, quick reminder to check out our latest podcast on all the usual podcast platforms. And be sure you're following me on Facebook and Instagram at Mark Ebinger. That's M-A-R-C, Ebinger. And then follow Nikki on Facebook and Instagram at Nikki Holland Talks. There are links to everything you need to know. I'm all tongue-tied now. I don't even know what to say.
Saw that kissing.
Yeah,
Give your tongue a break, Mark.
Anyway, so there are links to everything you need to know in the details below, or you can check out our website at eotalkradio.com. That's going to be it for us. Have a great week, and we'll see you on the next show.
All right. Y'all take care.